Welcome to another edition of FJA Math Notebooks. Today we are going to be doing a notebook entry on adding and subtracting scientific notation. You're going to need your notebook, put that title on it. You're going to need this paper from your packet, this paper from your packet as well, pencil, scissors, glue as usual, and then some other colors could definitely be helpful to spice things up. As always, we're going to start by cutting out on the dotted lines, not on the solid lines, and on this one as well. Setting aside this piece of paper, we're going to start here. What I would like you all to do is put glue inside this square here, glue this down so that adding and both the adding marks are going to be face up when you fold it. So it should be like this. All right, so you should have it glued down like this so that you can read adding, same power, adding with unlike power, subtracting on the sides, and then I also wrote a note underneath. One of the very best, most important things we have to remember is that when we're adding and subtracting scientific notation, the exponents for both of those numbers must be the same in order to add and subtract them. If they aren't, then one of the numbers must be converted so the exponents are equal. Write that down. Then we're going to start entering the notes in here. I'm going to write it and then I'll read out what I have in there. Yo, what's up? So let's first talk about adding with the same power or adding with unlike powers. What we're really always hoping for is that they have the same power because it's so much easier. The rules and the notes I'd like you to put down are these. 1, add the decimal numbers, and 2, keep the exponent the same. So I did a little example here. We've got 3.14 times 10 to the third plus 2.1 times 10 to the third. Well, they're both multiplied by 10 to the third, so thankfully we don't have to do any conversion here. All we do is we add the decimal numbers. So we've got 3.14 plus the 2.1 from the other number. That equals 5.51, and then we keep that same exponent, 10 to the third. When it gets a little bit more complicated is when we have unlike powers. In that case, step 1 is convert to the same power. Step 2, add the decimal numbers. Step 3, keep the converted exponent. And actually, we might have to convert it again even, as we're going to demonstrate in this example. Make sure you have these notes written down. Pause the video here if you need to. And if you have those down, then let's look at this example. So we've got 2.4 times 10 to the third plus 3.12 times 10 to the fourth. Well, those exponents are different. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to convert 3.12 times 10 to the fourth to 31.2 times 10 to the third. See what I did there? I moved that decimal one place to the right, so it's now 31.2. And because I already moved the decimal one place to the right, and 10 to the fourth means, hey, that means I moved the decimal 4 places to the right. Now it's only 10 to the third because the decimal's already been moved 1 place to the right. All right, so now I can say, all right, well, I have 2.4 times 10 to the third and 31.2 times 10 to the third. So I'm going to add together the decimal numbers, 2.4 plus 31.2. Well, that gets you 33.6, and then we're going to keep that same exponent, the 10 to the third, but a lot of you will notice, hey, this is not the proper way to write scientific notation. I need to convert it by moving that decimal back 1 place to the left, and what that's going to do is it's going to change it to 3.36 times 10 to the fourth. And so this would be a more proper answer. I'm going to take the notes now on subtraction, follow along, and we will do this together in a second. So let's discuss our subtraction rule notes. So we've got subtracting with the same power and then subtracting with unlike power. So up here I wrote 1, subtract the decimal number, 2, keep the exponent the same. It's very similar to addition. So in my sample problem, I've got 6.9 times 10 to the 4th minus 2.18 times 10 to the 4th. Well, they have the same exponent. That's awesome. That makes it so easy. So all we're going to do is subtract the decimal numbers. So 6.9 minus 2.18. If you do that, write that all out, you are going to get 4.72. And then we have 4.72 times 10 to the 4th. We keep that same exponent. But in the event we're subtracting with unlike powers, changes a little bit. Step 1, we have to convert to the same exponents again. Step 2, subtract the decimal numbers. Step 3, write in proper form. Very similar to adding with different exponents. So pause this, write down these notes. And let's go over our example. We've got 9.2 times 10 to the 4th minus 4.1 times 10 to the 3rd. Well, we've got 10 to the 4th and 10 to the 3rd, so the first thing I need to do is convert. And I've chosen, this one's a little easier. If I convert 9.2, I'm going to convert that to 92, or 92.0. I just move the decimal 1 to the right. Because I've moved it 1 to the right, 10 to the 4th becomes 10 to the 3rd. So 92 times 10 to the 3rd is really the exact same thing as 9.2 times 10 to the 4th. Write it out if you don't believe me. 92, now I can do second step, subtract the decimal numbers. 92 minus 4.1, well, that equals 87.9, and times 10 to the 3rd, because those are the common exponents we were using. But let's rewrite that in proper form to 8.79 times 10 to the 4th. Last but not least, for your notebooks, if you flip the page and glue down this sheet of paper, please try and do 1 or 2 of these and then come back to those in the next week or so that you have some practice and refresher on how we add and subtract scientific notation. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed.